Students, please note down. The PDF file of all these notes have been uploaded in the description of video lecture. Please download your notes. Dear students, in today's lecture we will discuss digestive system of frog, Rana Tigrina. Dear students, in today's lecture we will cover digestive system of frog. It is divided into two parts: alimentary canal and digestive glands. The alimentary canal of frog is complete. It has following parts: mouth, buccopharyngeal cavity, then this small tubular part is esophagus, this widest part of the alimentary canal it is stomach, and this longest part, highly coiled structure, it is small intestine. And this terminal part of the alimentary canal, it is large intestine or rectum. Then the cloaca and cloacal aperture. Dear students, alimentary canal of frog is complete. Its first part is mouth, and mouth it is a wide aperture of buccopharyngeal cavity, and the mouth is triangular in structure. And this mouth leads into large, spacious buccopharyngeal cavity. The second part of alimentary canal, it is buccopharyngeal cavity, which is very important for final exam. Dear students, this is the structure of buccopharyngeal cavity of frog. And this buccopharyngeal cavity opens by a wide aperture, and that aperture is mouth. Mouth is bounded by two jaws, upper jaw which is immovable, and this lower jaw it is movable. Dear students, this buccopharyngeal cavity, as name indicates, buccopharyngeal, it means both buccal cavity and pharynx are merged into a cavity, that is buccopharyngeal cavity. And this buccopharyngeal cavity, it's upper jaw, and this jaw maxillary, this jaw or maxilla, upper jaw, it possesses maxillary teeth, and upper jaw is immovable, while this lower jaw, which is without any teeth, this lower jaw is highly movable. Dear students, in this upper jaw or in this maxilla, this is a row of identical teeth which are homodont, which are similar in structure, and these teeth which are conical, projecting inwardly, and all these teeth are homodont, similar in structure. These are polyphyodont, which develop in many sets several times. And dear students, very important for competition exam, these are acrodont. It means in case of frog, the tooth is directly gets attached, it is fixed on this bony surface by a cementing material, while in case of human being, our teeth are thecodont. It means our tooth that gets fixed in a bony socket. But here, this tooth which gets attached on this bony surface by a cementing material directly without any bony socket or cavity, it is acrodont. But in case of human being, our teeth are thecodont. The teeth, they get inserted in a bony cavity socket, thecodont. In case of man, our teeth are heterodont, are of different type, but in case of frog, all teeth are identical, similar. This buccopharyngeal cavity, upper jaw, that also consists of a pair of patches of, these are wormrine teeth. It means in case of frog, upper jaw having a row of maxillary teeth as well as two patches of wormrine teeth which are present on wormer bones, one patch on each wormer bone. And dear students, in this upper jaw, a pair of openings, these are internal nares, as well as in this upper part, in front of these a pair of internal nares, internal nostrils, these are 1, 2, 3. Three grooves are there, three depressions are there, and these are named subrostral fossa. Dear students, in this lower jaw, 1, 2, 3 elevated projections are there, and these projections are named three prelingual tubercles, as these tubercles present in front of this tongue. These projections, three projections, which gets inserted in these three deep grooves, so that both upper and lower jaw, they get interlocked, and for the proper closing of both jaws, mouth gets closed, firmly closed, due to presence of these three finger-like projections, tubercles, which get inserted in these three grooves, which are subrostral fossa. For closing of mouth, at the time of breathing, the mouth is firmly closed. Dear students, note down, in case of frog, breathing, that is positive. Inspiration is always positive. But in case of human beings, at the time of breathing, our mouth remains open. It means in case of frog, at the time of breathing, mouth gets closed, only nostrils remain open. For that proper closing of mouth, interlocking of both jaws, these three projections, these are prelingual tubercles. These tubercles get inserted in these three grooves. These are three subrostral fossa, two lateral and one median. In this upper jaw, these projections are there, which represent bulging of eyeball. In the middle part of this buccopharyngeal cavity, in upper region, a pair of openings of eustachian tubes, and these eustachian tubes carry air current to the middle ear, the tympanic cavity. And in this lower part, in male frog, a pair of openings are, and these openings are vocal sacs opening, the apertures of vocal sacs, as in case of male frog, a pair of dear students, vocal sacs are there, and these apertures represent the openings of vocal sacs in case of male frog only, because in male frog, a pair of vocal sacs which act as resonators. It means male frog croaks loudly as compared to female frog due to presence of additional vocal sacs resonators. In this central part of this buccopharyngeal cavity, this is the opening of esophagus, and this esophageal opening, it is gullet, G-U-L-L-E-T. Just below it, this opening is, it is glottis. It is the opening of laryngotracheal chamber. Dear students, this glottis represents the opening of laryngotracheal chamber, and this gullet, it represents the opening of esophagus. In this lower part, in this lower jaw, which is without any teeth, and this lower part of this buccopharyngeal cavity having bilobed, this bifid muscular tongue is there. This is all about buccopharyngeal cavity of frog. This buccopharyngeal cavity opens in this tubular structure, that is esophagus. This food pipe is smaller, as in case of frog, neck is absent. And this esophagus conducts food. In this part of alimentary canal, it is stomach. This is the widest part and tubular structure. Its upper part, it is cardiac stomach, and this lower part, which is curved, it represents pyloric stomach. It means in case of frog, the stomach having two parts. Upper part is cardiac and the lower part is pyloric. In this pyloric region, a sphincter is there, pyloric sphincter. That pyloric sphincter checks the entry of food from this stomach into small intestine. This small intestine, that is a coiled structure, and this intestine, it is longest part of alimentary canal. It is divided into two parts. Dear students, it's this part, upper part is U-shaped part. This part is duodenum and this lower part is ileum. It means in case of frog, small intestine, there is no jejunum, while in case of human beings, the alimentary canal, the small intestine having three parts, upper part is duodenum, the middle part is jejunum, and the lower part is ileum. But in case of frog, only two parts, upper part is duodenum and this lower part is ileum, no jejunum. And ये देख रहे बच्चों, in this alimentary canal, a membranous fold is there. Dear students, this membranous fold in which this alimentary canal is present. This membranous fold is mesentery, having blood vessels for the absorption of food substances. Maximum digestion and absorption of food that takes place in this small intestine. At the junction of this small intestine and large intestine is small structure is there. It is spleen, it is blood bank of frog. And dear student, this terminal part of the alimentary canal, it is rectum, in which an undigested food gets stored here in this rectum. It is large intestine. It leads, it opens in this chamber, it is cloaca, and cloaca, it is a common chamber in which the rectum opens, as well as, not down dear students, as well as in this cloaca, in this common chamber, urinogenital duct opens, and this cloaca opens by an aperture, it is cloacal aperture. And in the alimentary, in this digestive system of frog, four digestive glands associate. Dear students, here in case of frog, four types of digestive glands. Liver. This is the diagram of, this is liver. This is the largest gland of body, liver. It is bilobed structure. This one is the left lobe of liver. This is right lobe of liver. From this liver, these are numerous hepatic ducts which collect the secretion of liver, that is bile, and the bile gets stored in this structure, it is gallbladder. And dear students, from the gallbladder, bile is carried via a small duct, that is cystic duct. This is the second part of digestive gland, which is pancreas. It is leaf-like, and this pancreas, the second largest gland of body, this pancreas, and the liver secretion, which is bile, that is carried by hepatopancreatic duct that opens in this duodenum, the small intestine, upper part of small intestine. Third type of glands which are present in the stomach wall, these are gastric glands. And dear students, fourth types of glands are present in the wall of small intestine. These are intestinal glands. It means in case of frog, no salivary gland, as in case of human beings, which we have already discussed in animal nutrition. Dear students, In case of frog, only 4 types of glands: liver, pancreas. In stomach wall, gastric glands are there, and in the small intestine wall, the intestinal glands are present. The secretion of liver, that is bile, and the bile juice, bile that gets stored in this gallbladder. The bile, no enzymes, and bile consists of bile salts which involve in the emulsification of fat, which convert the bigger, the complex unit of fats into smaller units, which we have already discussed in animal nutrition. Pancreas, the second largest gland, and this pancreas secretes pancreatic juice, and which contains trypsinogen. Dear students, trypsinogen for the digestion of proteins. Chymotrypsinogen, again proteolytic enzyme. Peptidases, to break up, to convert the peptides into simple units, amino acids. Amylases, for the digestion of starch. Maltase, for the digestion of maltose, the double sugar into simple sugars, glucose. And the lipase, for the digestion of fats. Gastric juice, which is produced by the gastric glands which are present in the wall of stomach. And these gastric glands having 3 types of cells which collectively produce gastric juice. These are goblet cells. These goblet cells are mucus secreting cells. Second type of cells in stomach wall, in gastric glands, these are oxyntic cells. Dear students, oxyntic cell very important because these cells secrete hydrochloric acid HCl, and that HCl maintains the pH of stomach, as well as the HCl activates the pepsinogen, the enzymes present in gastric juice, and the peptic cell, zymogen cells, and these cells of stomach, digestive glands, gastric glands secrete pepsinogen. Intestinal glands, and these intestinal glands which are present in the wall of small intestine, which secretes intestinal juice or saccus entericus. In that saccus entericus, following enzymes are present: peptidase, for the digestion of proteins, peptides. Enterokinase, this enzyme activates the trypsinogen. Maltase enzyme, for the digestion of maltose. Lipase enzyme, dear students, for the digestion of lipids. This entire physiology we have already discussed in animal nutrition. This is all about digestive system of frog, Rana Tigrina. The entire system divided into 2 parts: alimentary canal and its associated glands. The alimentary canal having following parts, dear student. First part is mouth, then mouth leads in this large buccopharyngeal cavity. The third part is esophagus, and fourth part is stomach. Next part is small intestine, and all these parts of alimentary canal which are present in this membranous fold. It is mesentery having enriched blood supply, and at the junction of small intestine, large intestine, blood bank is there. It is spleen, and the terminal part of alimentary canal that stores undigested food, it is rectum, large intestine. It opens into a common chamber, that is cloaca. That is a common chamber in which this rectum opens, as well as urinogenital duct opens, and this cloaca opens by cloacal aperture. And in this system, the associated glands which are very clear, this bilobed structure, it is the largest gland of body. It is liver. In this U-shaped cavity, the second largest gland of body, that is pancreas. The bile juice that gets stored in this structure, it is gallbladder, and both liver and pancreas secrete bile juice, and pancreatic juice carried via this common hepatopancreatic duct. Then the stomach wall having gastric glands with 3 types of cells: mucus secreting goblet cells, the oxyntic cells which secrete HCl, and dear students, the third type of cells present in gastric glands are peptic cells, zymogen cells which secrete pepsinogen, and in the small intestinal glands which secretes intestinal juice, saccus and trachus, that contains all types of enzymes for the digestion of starch, proteins and lipids. So this is all about alimentary canal and digestive glands which associate in this system, digestive system of frog. In next lecture we will discuss respiratory system, breathing mechanism of frog